December, the end of 2014, we sent out a survey to employers, and we asked them to tell us what they wanted from an organization that was providing worksite wellness resources and information and things like that. And so we got a good response from that survey, and kind of going over those survey results led us to develop employee wellness educational initiatives, which is what we're starting with here today. We already have a list of some upcoming initiatives that we'll be having. Today is your opportunity to find out what businesses in the community are doing with wellness and how they're helping their employees. In the next upcoming months, we'll have a Well Workplace University, so you'll really be able to learn a lot about how to implement worksite wellness initiatives into your organization. We're also inviting your membership and a representative from your business to join us for the rest of the year to begin this new employee wellness model. There will be a membership fee. It'll be $250 for the year, and it will include free participation in all of the Activate Buffalo County employee wellness initiatives. So this is kind of your opportunity to get a little taste of what we'll be providing you for the rest of the year. You'll be able to learn so much about how to implement employee wellness, how to keep track of improvements your employees are making, and all kinds of things. We'll be sending out a letter very soon to businesses in the community, so you can learn a little bit more about that. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to have each one of you introduce yourself and say what company you're from, if you could do that. You go ahead and start.
I'm Heather Stubbs with the Buckle corporate office here in Kearney.
I'm Cindy Kemp. I'm an occupational health nurse out at Monsanto.
I'm Lauren Brandt. I work for the city of Kearney. Need a DO, Platte Valley Medical Group.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for coming. I'm just going to ask some questions. This is very informal and casual, so whoever feels like answering first can answer. So first, can you each just kind of talk a little bit about what your business is doing to promote workplace wellness?
Well, I can start.
Okay.
A few years ago, we developed, it's called our Health Hounds. So we do probably bi-monthly activities, whether it's like salsa contest or walking. Right now we're doing weigh-ins. Keeping the walkout on your job, but we're going to be starting yoga next month up at our clinic after work. We have people interested in doing that. So we try to do little prizes too for participation. And we also started yoga. We do yoga about once, I think we've done it like once a month for the last couple months. We're about to have another session here. So Buckle pays for the yoga class, and an instructor comes in over the lunch hour, so from 12 to 1, and does 2 classes. We've had a decent turnout, probably about 20 people. So, I think some people are scared. So we're starting to talk about, do we also bring in other classes like Zumba and stuff like that, just to get people to see what's out there, what the different companies in Kearney offer. Our challenge is whatever we do for the home office, we need to think of company-wide. So, we have 10,000 employees over the whole country. So we do things like wellness newsletters that we send out monthly, where we try to include a recipe, maybe a monthly challenge, just some different tips and tricks so that we can send that out company-wide. We also have a wellness committee that meets every couple months and does things like walk out on your job and the different community things that are going on. And we have bulletin boards where we post things for wellness. We're always open to suggestions from anybody in the company to email us. And we've worked on a nationwide gym membership discount with Anytime Fitness. So we do that for all of our locations across the United States.
We do a lot of different things. Throughout the year, we try to do one big annual large challenge that we put together. Right now, we're actually in the midst of a 10-week challenge using Fitbits. That has been the most successful challenge to date. Out of 254 full-time employees, we have 131 that participated. So it was a phenomenal participation rate, best, like I said, best we've had. But throughout the year, we try to do some smaller challenges, obviously with a limited budget. But just kind of, we did yoga too. We've done piloxing. We did CrossFit as part of our challenge last year. Just kind of little smaller things, walking challenges, eating better. But then again, we kind of primarily focus on one big challenge a year and stick with that. But I also have in our employee newsletter that we do every month, I try to promote community-wide events that are going out. We do participate in Walk Out on Your Job, but a lot of other things that are going on. There's a ton of 5Ks right now. So just promoting those, and that's kind of what we do.
And how did you guys get your Fitbits? Did each employee purchase one, or how did that work?
It was basically through Fitbit. They have what's called the Wellness Corporation on Fitbit's end, and I reached out to them, and they have kind of a program built in that you can purchase in bulk. As long as you buy over 100, you get a subsidy that they'll pay for. So like Fitbit reduced the cost by $15 per Fitbit. So the Fitbit Flex, the one that I have on, is normally $100. We were able to purchase those for $85. We did have our employees pay $20 each, and then the city provided the rest of the payment for the Fitbit. They're going to have to complete the challenge or return their Fitbit. They're all very aware of that. But that's pretty much, so we just kind of started the conversation with Fitbit. They were great to work with, and I got no negative feedback from the employees about $20 at the end of the 10-week challenge, as long as they've met a mile requirement that they knew about well ahead of time. They're able to keep their Fitbit, and it's been very fun to see the employees from all different departments kind of interact. They have the big challenge, and the big challenge is built into Walk Across Nebraska, so they pair with other people from different departments, and then they have certain miles that they have to meet each week. And they've kind of, on their own initiative, started their own little mini challenges, and through Fitbit has an app on your phone. So I'm involved with a bunch of different challenges from employees across all different departments. And these are employees that typically we didn't engage before and didn't want to participate before, but now they are, and they're loving it. So it was a definite expense up front. We prepared for that. We've been doing, like I said, much smaller challenges, had pretty mediocre results in participation, kind of found the same employees participating. And so we just kind of went back to the drawing board and said, what's popular right now and what's working? A lot of the activity trackers were kind of the big rage at the time. So I just reached out to Garmin and Fitbit and got some research from them and information, and we just decided to go with it. And it's been huge. So if anybody's interested in that, I can give you some information. But like I said, I just reached out to Fitbit, and they've been great. If there's been any problems with any of the devices, they've refunded them and sent them directly a replacement back to the employees. So
About your company.
Okay, Monsanto. It's a little different than these ladies. We're a company of about 100 people here locally. Monsanto was worldwide. So we have a corporate office similar to what you have at a corporate wellness. So they provide a lot of things that doesn't cost us things in a big sense of the way. And then we have something that's locally. So on a corporate wide, we're similar. We don't hold yoga in Kearney. Just to let you know that out of our 100 employees, we only have 8 females. Everything else is males, and they're all pretty much 90% of them are all farmer based. Grow seed corn here in town. So anyway, just a little bit different employee base that we work with. So it's hard to engage a lot of the men in wellness activities. We do better with the wives, actually. So at a corporate level, we do HRAs every year, and employees get paid to participate in that. Also, the spouses' HRAs or the health risk assessments that are done. So then we've been able to do that over several years and compare what kind of differences we're making with their programs. They also pay for the Fitbits. Ours are a little different, so we're similar to that. We participate also, they get the pedometers for both the husband and the wives, because a lot of times the wives participate in their walking programs and things like that. So we get them each one of those. It doesn't cost them anything, but they just get the pedometers. If you want to upgrade, they work with you, like mine's the charge HR, and so then they will decrease that amount instead of the others. So we participate in that too. We have something coming up in the fall. For ours, we started our year goes from January to January. So ours this year is the million mile. Okay, so we're going to try and get in 1 million miles. So, and that averages about 5,600 steps a day. And so that starts in June to go to July. So there's an incentive. So when employees participate, they complete the program, they actually get paid $100 for each one of the incentives, including the wives. So there's kind of the financial piece that does that. At a local level, then what we do is we have biometric screening, where we have a company come in and do their lab work, which has been really good because a lot of these men don't seek health care. And so we've done that for like 8-9 years now. And so they can see on the computer, they enter all the data. I don't get to see it even though I'm the nurse there. And so they can see what's happened. We have a graph that they can see how they've done, how their cholesterol's done over the last few years. And then if we have some people right now, I'm working with a couple of people on blood pressure issues. So then I can work with them individually on their specific needs. So anyway, not only the wellness part as far as eating and exercise, but we really try and teach them about know their numbers and pushing that portion. So
Perfect. Thank you. And I think when I introduced myself, I said president when I meant chair. I didn't want you to think I'm like super important. It's actually chair. I realized that like a few minutes later. I was like, okay, hold on. Okay, anyway, not that it's about me, but I just wanted to clear that up. Okay, so what are the mission, goals, and objectives of your Worksite Wellness program?
I think the number one thing we're hearing about from people is work-life balance. So we really tried to make that a goal this year is I think not only to promote the healthy lifestyle and the healthy eating, but the stress management. I think people are really bringing that to our attention, that we all need to not be working 55, 60 hours a week and find that balance where, you know, sometimes you can't get home and you can't work out because it's just you've got too much going on. So how do you work it into your day? You know, your job is where you spend the majority of your time. So we've tried to figure out, do we do things before work, at lunch, right after work? I mean, just ways to get people to think, I got it done today and I feel good about it. But, you know, I don't want to think about it when I go home. So.
Our official mission, I have to read it, to partner with employees and their families in their efforts to actively learn about and make choices toward a healthier life. So the goal for 2015 is to create a culture of wellness, improve or maintain a healthy lifestyle and appropriate medical care. That's kind of officially it anyway for our goals.
We don't have anything really written, set in stone. We're just trying to come up with ways to impact those employees that typically don't think about wellness. And so that's always challenging, but that's kind of been I've been with the city a little over 2 years now, and so that's been my kind of mantra that I live by. So I'll just take it.
Like that, for you guys who do your employees know about it? Like, do they know we have these goals and this mission statement, or is it kind of like, because you guys are the coordinator, you know about it, but like, is it known among your businesses? And do you think that would be beneficial if it was known?
For us, it isn't. We just came up with kind of where we were going with this at our first wellness committee meeting this year. So no, we haven't got it out there yet. This is kind of baby steps for us. Like, you know, we just got a new HR director a couple years ago. So we're starting to finally go, where are we going with wellness and how do we impact the whole company? So we just kind of started to put stuff on our intranet, have our own page. And so it's very baby step, but yes, I think we'll eventually come up with a mission statement and get it out there and hopefully get everybody motivated.
So for me, yes, I know. We start planning on I am part of the corporate level, which is our corporate offices are in St. Louis. And so I'm part of that team. We kind of know what the mission and the goals are for the next year when we look at that HRA data from the previous years, and it also rolls into what our health benefits are. And so in January, when everybody comes back from our leave, our plant shuts down for 2 weeks over Christmas. So when they come back and we start introducing what our initiatives are for planting and harvest and all those kind of things, then in January, when they're thinking about lifestyle changes, I roll out a PowerPoint, and these are the things that are included. They are also told at that time what the money incentives are for the year. So to them, they're looking at what the financial thing is too. So they know. If we went out there and asked them, I'm sure they probably couldn't tell it. Just like me, I have to read it. So it's there, but they're more interested in what the programs are for the upcoming year and what's going to roll out.
Do any of your companies have policies in place at your business, for example, about like physical activity or vending machines or the type of food that's served at meetings or anything like that?
We do with vending machines. They have a little green leaf in those.
Mhm.
So we were trying to pick some healthier things besides chili Fritos, which might be my favorite. But we stay away from them and offer things besides pop in those machines as well. So,
What are the types of things that are offered in your machines?
there's some juice, there's milk. As far as the drinks goes, I believe there's yogurt. Cheeses. There you go. I think there's even beef jerky in there as well. But there are some of the baked chips as opposed to just the grease chips.
And what's the response been from your employees?
You know what? We started that probably 4 years ago, and people are looking more for those choices now as opposed to the candy bars. So.
Sure.
And we just implemented Company Kitchen, I think is what it's called, within the last probably 6 months. So we got rid of actually all the vending machines and put in more of an open concept. So we do have fruit set out so that they can purchase the fruit. Again, all the baked chips. And then our refrigerator now has eggs, hard-boiled eggs, beef jerky, cheese sticks, salads. So we think it's been really good. We're going to do a survey here in the next month or so to see if everybody's liking it. But I think people are really liking that they have those choices for lunch, that they don't have to go out. They can stay there and go grab a salad or some hard-boiled eggs. And same with the pop. We've gotten replaced a lot with some iced teas, milk, stuff like that. So it's been really good.
That's great. When did you guys implement that?
Probably about 6 months ago.
Okay. Where do you get the products from?
It is, I think it's through Valley Vending
Oh, it is
here.
through
It's just a
Vending.
different concept. So they get rid of the actual machines and it's just an open concept with a kiosk, and we can either use our thumbprint or a card. And so you just go purchase the item, scan it like you're at the grocery store. It shows you the total, and then you figure out how you're going to pay for it, and it just deducts it from your balance. So I think Cabela's was the one who we kind of paired off of seeing it from them and implemented it in both of our buildings. So
Very cool. How do you evaluate success?
probably by the participation, you know, I don't know, but we kind of see maybe the same group of people doing that. I was interested in the fifth thing, but sometimes it is just the same people that like to participate and, you know.
So mine is also driven by data and participation in our biometric screenings and all the other events that we have, our lunch and learns and stuff on what participation is. But at the corporate level, they also have more aggregate data based on what's happening with that biometric numbers for all across the globe. So they're able to see and able to negotiate some of the Blue Cross Blue Shield type of premiums for the companies. So I know they're looking at different screening tools, and you know, we get points this year, and you know, for getting your, colonoscopies done and your, pap smears done and all those kind of events that they're trying to really push now because they're seeing some success with the early screening. So that's been an initiative that they've been driving at a corporate level. So we're using some data for that. Locally, I use just pretty much participation also.
That's the same for us. I mean, obviously a goal is to lower our medical claims and health claims, and then which reduces our premiums because we are self-insured, but we don't track that data. I mean, we really won't know. But I look at it as participation, but then it's really neat to hear the stories from employees that I know did not ever participate before, and me kind of examining it, knowing that they really wouldn't have participated before, but now they are, and then just hearing their coworkers come up to me and say, hey, just so you know, he never used to walk to go get that tool, but now he really wants those steps and gets mad if somebody brings him a tool. So I look at it as simple success that way, just kind of taking those small strides. Obviously, we do hope that it lowers our medical claims and our premiums in the long run, but I don't think we'll ever really know. But I've seen employees that have told me I dropped 20 pounds already, and it's amazing to hear. I mean, and then they've connected with their wives because they've been going out and walking and they've been able to communicate that way. So to me, it's just those little things that kind of keep me going. And I don't know if I can evaluate that on a big scale, but to me personally, being kind of in charge of the program, I think that's amazing. And I share that with all of our my supervisor, and she passes it on, obviously, to the department heads too. So,
you all mentioned participation. How do you try to get more people to participate in your programs? Lauren, you kind of touched on it. You kind of changed your programming so that it could, reach kind of a wider audience. But I think that's probably something that everyone struggles with, is getting people besides that same core group that always participates to get involved.
And I still have that same issue with us. We are a plant that works 24/7. So trying to get some of these things to benefit them. The thing that I've learned is that you need to present the programs while they're at work. They're not going to come in when they live in Pleasanton or Ravenna or someplace like that to come in and do a lunch and learn. So I try and do some activities around all the different shift work. And when we do our biometric screening and stuff, they get off at 6 o'clock. Our shift changes at 6 in the morning, 6 at night. So I try and get the biometric people to come in and do their lab work starting at 4:30 in the morning, and start hitting the night shift people before they go home, and then start on the day shift people. So you kind of have to be a little bit creative in drawing the participation part, but it's still a challenge. As you want to participate, do, and those who don't.
We have our health health committee, and we try and get somebody from each of the other departments at our clinic so that they can bring ideas to the table and see what's out there. A lot of ours is community driven too. We do a lot of sponsorship for the Jubilee Center and the Save Center. And at Christmas time, we do something to incorporate that for a needy family as well. So just besides being healthy, we try and do something that's pro-community as well.
I've kind of found that teams seem to work better versus individual challenges. If you can have a team behind you that's kind of motivating you and rallying you, it keeps you more engaged. That just, to me, has seemed to work better. So if you do challenges, I compared both of ours, and we had much better success with kind of that team atmosphere versus independently trying.
What have been your best resources in developing and implementing your wellness program? You kind of talked about looking at another company, looking at Cabela's and how they're doing things. Have there been other resources in the community or online or anywhere that you've looked to implement?
Well, from a corporate level, Monsanto participates with Stay Well, which is a wellness company out there. So a lot of their activities and a lot of things are set up with Stay Well. And they're also the one that send the people out from Lincoln, Omaha to do our biometric screening. And they're the ones that enter all the data for us. So That is a company that they use. I don't have to locally, it's all driven at a corporate level that we don't have to purchase that. Then at a local level, I just kind of reach out to some of the people I know, do learns and get information of what's of interest to our employees. Skin cancer was a big one, and with us getting ready to go out into the field, reached out to Good Samaritan Hospital to get us a speaker and did a lunch and learn, little things like that. So helps with the budget locally.
What are some other topics you guys have done lunch and learns on?
I do a lunch and learn every quarter. So our latest one was the skin cancer that we're getting ready for. I've done podiatrists before because they're wearing steel-toed shoes and they're on their feet a lot. I've done identity theft. One of the banks here in town is really good on identity theft because we had somebody that had their identity stolen and it was a nightmare. And so those type of things. Diabetic, because we have not a large, but a portion of our employees are migrant Hispanic population where nearly almost all of them are diabetics. So it helped with the employees understanding diabetes. So it's kind of driven what's the need. Another one was colonoscopies, and another one was on breast cancer because we actually had a male employee that ended up with breast cancer. Our median age out there is like 35, so we have to, it's not an older population and almost all males,
So you're really looking at the issues that your employees face and really tailoring them to.
And it seems to hit home better than just general, you need to lose weight or you need to eat better. If it's something that kind of hits home or they know their buddy across the way is struggling with this, it helps them understand and are able to support them a little bit better too on what they might be going through.
Any other resources that you guys have used in the community or elsewhere to implement your wellness program?
I used to come to Wellness Works meetings, and it was just nice to visit with others in the community just to kind of find out what's working for them and what they've tried maybe wasn't as successful, and partnering a lot. We partnered last year with UNK on doing a challenge, so kind of using those resources that were available. We worked with Hy-Vee, brought them in to do some classes, so it's been helpful.
We're also just a small enough company that a lot of people know everybody, and we have a thing in the morning. Every shift change is called Toolbox, and a lot of the manufacturing companies have that. It's called Toolbox, so you can bring up safety concerns, things going on, community events, ideas, comments, whatever's kind of thrown out a hodgepodge. I just throw this out because recently my brother passed away in Las Vegas. He was coming back from a cruise to Aruba with his family. He died of sudden cardiac death. He was 53. And the initial autopsy results stated it's due to overdose of energy drinks. So we did a big toolbox about that and gave out some research information on that. So, that's how you can educate, even if it's just a 5-minute little piece that you share that information. So.
And is the toolbox just written information that you give to them, or how is it presented?
It's presented orally in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Everybody can throw out something, or something about railroad safety because we're right with the railroad tracks, Union Pacific. So it may be something on that. People just bring up some, we had one of our employees had a house fire and the electrical. So they were talking about check the electrical. It's not all about wellness, but they'll bring up items. And if more information is needed or there's an interest, I'll go out and research it, or somebody will get some additional information. But like on the energy drinks, that was kind of an enlightener because of some of the college kids and some of those people on shift work live on the energy drinks. So that's just my plug for you guys too. Energy drinks are dangerous. See, educated. But anyway, we use that as a way to get information and find out what people are interested in learning too.
Sure. Describe one success and one challenge your workplace wellness program has faced.
Where's geography? I mean, we're just so spread out that it's just hard to think of it on a corporate level. I mean, everybody's always excited at the home office to do all the community outreach and all the walking challenges, but it's really hard for us to get the stores engaged and have them be excited about wellness and think of something different. So that's been our biggest challenge.
Any successes you'd like to share?
Our successes, we've done some local challenges, but it's been a couple years now because it kind of faded off, but we were doing the team type challenges where if you met all these goals, you'd get a reward. But, you know, after about a year of that, doing it once a quarter, we haven't done it for a few years now, but people are starting to go, hey, maybe we should do a challenge again. So I think we're just constantly looking at new ideas, and I definitely like the Fitbit idea, so we might have to look into doing something like that and give them that incentive. So
Any other successes and challenges?
I think we have a lot of successes, but we also have a lot of challenges. I think the challenge for me is, like I said, the male population, and they're here to come to go to work and then they want to go home. So they're probably more driven by their family than they are themselves. But that's probably our biggest, just the motivation shift work. Trying to capture everybody is always a challenge on participation. But lots of successes, you know, just going.
We have a lot of age differences and we have an older population, a younger population. In the middle, we have them all over. And then just the differing personalities a little bit. I mean, we have so many departments within the city. We have our police department, so they work, you know, all the time, 24/7. Then we have our guys in utilities and public works that sometimes they flat out told me, I don't want to do anything when I get off work and go home. And I understand that 100%. So just trying to find ways to engage them. But one thing that I did try that was kind of successful besides the Fitbit, I started a book club. It started last summer, and we just met in the parks, and we just randomly picked a book. Actually, through the library, they have book club bags that you can rent. And that has been extremely successful. We don't have a ton. We have about 10 to 15 every book, but it's been 10 to 15 people that, again, I would have never thought would have participated. And that's been really fun to get to know those other employees from departments. So that was kind of fun. And we don't talk about working out or eating food. We talk about a book. So it's just lighthearted and kind of a different type of wellness.
Successes, challenges?
I think we're doing this weight loss right now, and that's been very successful. People are weighing in and doing that. The challenges, I think, are all the same across the board. It's the time, either before work or after work. And we don't have the shift work that, you know, when you're done at the end of the day, people just want to go home and spend some family time.
Tell us more about the weight loss challenge you're doing right now.
People were weighing in, they could sign up to do it. It wasn't mandatory. And if you gained weight, you put $1 back into the kitty. And then whoever lost the most weight at the end of the week challenge got that pot. So.
And how long was the challenge run?
Till May 5th. Yeah. So it was from the beginning of March to the beginning of May.
How are you fitting that in with the loss? I mean, there's a lot of rules about wellness and how you can't pay people to lose weight or, you know, pound wise. When you talk to our insurance company, they would,
Well, we're not paying per pound. It's just that
whoever loses the most weight wins. I mean, that would be something that I think our insurance company would.
A lot of times, from what I've read about it, it's as long as it's not mandatory.
it's not mandatory.
If it's
Right.
voluntary
just for fun.
program, that's
Right.
They
Yeah.
can bounce that off of our the insurance. I guess that's just check. Could be my thought.
Well, it's not mandatory. People are volunteering to do this, and it's been a positive thing for these folks. People are pretty happy about those challenges.
You all probably work with different budgets for your wellness programming. How do you work within your budget?
I know the Fitbit, obviously, you think there's 131 and the city paid for a pretty good majority of that cost. I can tell you this was, like I said, the most we've ever spent on a wellness challenge. We actually kind of pooled our money over the past couple of years to be able to do something large like this. Traditionally, I have a very, very small wellness budget that I work from. So this budgeting for this challenge was very unique. We won't do something again like this for a long time, I can tell you that. I just try to get crafty with it. I found that some employees don't really care about the prizes. Others do, they're prize driven. But some just even that little motivation and just simple words of encouragement can be prizes in themselves. So I just Google a lot. Google's my best friend.
Our budget is pretty non-existent, just because this is new. So every time we go to the executives and propose some kind of money, we kind of get, oh, we'll see, maybe we'll look at that next year. So we're just trying to think outside the box, see if Blue Cross will donate anything to us. They're our insurance provider. I mean, just we're always looking for ideas and free things. We've subscribed to like the Hy-Vee, that e-vine that they do, that Healthy Bites, just to get recipes and ideas that we can put in our newsletters. So we're just everything for free right now until we have actually established a wellness budget.
Well, Monsanto, I'm pretty fortunate that the corporate level does a lot, and I know that their budget is tied in with the benefit portion, like the Blue Cross Blue Shield that we have. So I know it's somehow tied in with that. At a local level, when we do our health fair and our biometric screening and things like that, there's a budget that's established. But I've been pretty fortunate that I usually can work pretty well within that budget. And, the lunch and learns, because I provide lunch for everyone. We kind of get creative on how we're going to do that. Sometimes it's just sandwiches, sometimes soup and sandwiches. If it gets a little thin on budget, then I make management bring in soup, and their crock pot is soup, and that's how we feed people. So you get creative with what you have to work with.
We don't have a budget either. So sometimes it could be my own. Other people donate trinkets. Target's got those great little dollar bins. Everybody needs a notepad or something to cut out of that. So.
Great. So I'd like to open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions for our panel, please feel free to ask.
If you work with second language workers, do you have a translator that does your lunch runs?
Yes, we have 22 Spanish folks, and probably all of them are bilingual except for 6 of them, and then we have a full-time translator out there that works. So then she usually sits with that group, and if they don't understand, she'll translate some of the information for them. They're getting a lot better. They've been there for a few years, so they're starting to pick up a lot more of the English language. So, what we do. A lot of the things that I get printed and a lot of those activities are all done in Spanish. Almost all of our printed information, and she translates all that stuff for us. So they can get it in printed form as well.
Any other questions?
We've talked a lot about programming and different programs. Do you guys see anywhere that you would want to switch the policies? Because there's more research is coming out there saying behavior change is kind of more done through policy work in your kind of environment and stuff. Do you guys ever see your company implementing more policies, or is that something you'd like to go and do a little bit more of that, or do you think there would be pushback? With the healthy vending, both of you guys seem like employees appreciate that and stuff. Is there any more look to doing stuff like that?
I think there will be. We merged with Kearney Regional last September, and so everybody's just trying to get together and become one, as opposed to Platte Valley doing something by themselves and Kearney Regional doing that by themselves. So I would foresee there's more policies coming down the road. I don't think we'll have a lot of pushback. Depending on what
Yeah, I was going to say, are there any policies and wellness you guys would like to see established for organizations?
I think the good one is we're in a non-smoking campus, and we're really close to the park, and so that's been good to see employees out walking constantly with that, or going over to the park and doing the stairs up the tower. Sidewalk to the park would be great, but I don't know if that'll be future. Settle through this field.
I think it's tough with policies because you want it to be a positive, and sometimes, at least in manufacturing, policies tend to be kind of a negative connotation. So with our population of folks, it's better to do it without being driven by policy and do it something that's positive and reinforce the positives. I know, I think I'd be a little challenged. And I know at the corporate level, there hasn't been any talk about mandating any. We do have the smoke-free, environments and things like that, but as far as certain vending machines or activities, I'm not sure that I'd get very far.
I don't know how much success I don't know how much our employees would read them. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could try it on some. We have the smoke free too, but think about it. I'd be a little nervous though. I mean, how you touched on a lot of with affordable health care, there's definitely a lot more rules now about what you can and can't do. And so I'd be careful that some of those policies maybe wouldn't infringe on some of the, yeah. Because that definitely has thrown, when the affordable healthcare wellness rules came out, I made sure I read them and made sure that we were violating any of them. But that's why we keep everything voluntary. And we kind of leave the insurance portion out of it a little bit.
Yeah, same with us. I mean, we have a smoke-free campus, but other than that, we don't have a lot of policies around wellness. But I can definitely see with our size that to implement anything, there would probably have to be a policy attached to it. So I'm sure that's coming down the pipeline.
How many employees do you have at Parks and Rec?
We only have a couple. I mean, I can think of one guy who bikes every day, but I don't think we have very many. We've talked about it. When we were building the new building across the street, and we were without a parking lot, so we were shuttling people from the old Cashway or Kmart. We really got out there and said, hey, if you can ride your bike, we are down 100 parking spaces right now. And I think we had a few extra people do it, but not a lot. I don't know if people just live too far away anymore or what the problem was.
I've seen we have a bike rack, but I've never seen any bikes.
I think we have like a handful. I've heard of some that do.
Well, we're kind of on the outskirts of Kearney. We're out by Cabela's, so it's kind of a challenge. And like I said, most of our farmers, I'm not even sure, maybe even only a handful that live in town.
Any other questions? Anyone?
It's tough.
Wish we had a fitness center.
On your side.
Yeah, that's a huge request for us too. I mean, that's one of the things people ask all the time is it doesn't even have to be fancy. We just want a couple treadmills and a couple bikes and a TV in the corner. So that would definitely help.
That was a request that we had, was a fitness center, and we had no place to put it even with the new construction we had done. So our site, as our local event, is site manager reimburses for the fee. So they have to pay for it, and you go to the Y, and then you bring me the receipt, and I write it up, and then they get reimbursed. So we do participate that. I guess I didn't add that to my list, but that's what we did too, because we had a lot of requests for the fitness center. For, like I said, we have kind of a younger population that was interested in that. So.
Wasn't there a private partnerships with themselves, schools or cities that provide benefits that live on campus, but it's not like a union policy. Other ideas?
Sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna start our. If anybody else has any questions.
Sorry, I have one more
Okay,
question. Is
go
that
ahead.
okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, no. And this can be, everybody can chime in too, But as working in wellness, what, as a community, or like Lauren said, just talking with others, kind of help her out wellness works, what would you guys want if, as a community of wellness working together, what would be a great resource, or what would be something that would be beneficial that you could take back to your workplace, that we can all kind of help each other with? Is there, if that makes sense, kind of what, as everybody working on the same task, how can we help each other? And what would that look like, if anybody has any?
I think just attending something like this and hearing the other ideas. I mean, I've gotten a lot of ideas today that are gonna maybe help start to get the ball rolling again. We get kind of stale and think of the same things, and nobody wants to deal with it anymore. And, it's hard to keep it going throughout the year. We get excited in January, February, and then by May and June, it's like, I'm over it. So to hear new ideas and keep things fresh, I think is just good. And I need to be better about going to the Wellness Works meetings, but, just so you can hear the things that are going on in the community and what's working for people and what didn't. So.
And I think part of it has to just do with resources. I wasn't aware of Wellness Works, so until somebody reached out to me, that I wasn't even aware that there was an action in town or some community. I kind of just felt it as we went. But again, it'd be great to have resources, what do you do there? Maybe I can implement. What are you doing at your site? That maybe would help. It's for ideas. Because like for me, I'm kind of a lone duck out at Monsanto, except for corporate, which is in St. Louis. So what are some resources locally that you could tap into?
I'd say sharing policy. I mean, if we would look at policies, I think it's always interesting to see what other people have. Because time management, I know that my role is not just a wellness coordinator. That's actually just another assigned duty. I'm an administrative assistant with wellness attached to it. So trying to find that balance to designate time for just wellness is difficult. So, sharing and learning from others, that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's huge in my mind because, again, time management is always the hardest part, I think, with wellness, at least for me, is finding time to make things happen. So.
Concur.
So I guess I will throw that out there too, is Wellness Works kind of used to be, and so now we are trying to build Activate Buffalo County. And so under Activate Buffalo County is going to be our employee wellness initiative. So that's what we're looking for and working towards now. And this was kind of our first event. So there is no more, but now we're Activate Buffalo County, and we're looking to get all of us around the room and more of our friends to come and have these same conversations and, specify our topics. Like we said, as a coalition, we kind of looked at some topics, and we know one of them from the surveys we implemented is stress. And I think that was one of the first things you said, and how stress affects productivity, absenteeism, and all that stuff. So we're looking to do a educational topic about stress. And so that's what we're kind of working on now, and this is kicking off, is, like I said, coming around the table as Activate Buffalo County, working on our wellness initiatives to take back. And so we do have some initiatives planned, and then getting more feedback and seeing what works, what doesn't work. So that's kind of where we're going right now. That wasn't clear, but no.
Thank you all so much for taking the time to talk to us. If you guys have any more questions for the panel, you can feel free to ask them. We are going to start our regular Activate Buffalo County meeting right now. You